Welcome back inside our broadcast booth, everybody. Richard Prendergast, current Salle University color commentator for all their broadcasts. Longtime assistant at Salle under Speedy Morris, joins Paul Romanczuk and John Giannini with us. Thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate this, Richard.
My pleasure. Nice to be here. My alma mater.
That's right. Absolutely. Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, always nice to be back to the school that taught me well, I believe.
Take us through your relationship with Speedy Morris, a longtime assistant, I know a very close friend as well.
Yeah, I mean, close friend, the first thing, thanks to Speedy, I met my wife down at Austin Peay University, so I owe him that. And then Speedy was my best man, and Mimi was our maid of honor at our wedding. But it's interesting that you have me do this today here because this is exactly the floor where I first met Speedy. It was way back 1965. I noticed these shirts say 52 seasons. Well, I know he had 55 because he had 3 in CYO. And that's when I met him. I think it was my second year coaching St. Tim's and his first year coaching St. John the Baptist. And we met each other playing in the LaSalle Grammar School basketball tournament here on this very floor. And I'll never forget it because we both had good teams, and we did win that game. And then, shaking hands with Speedy after the game, I'll never forget, he says to me, "My scouts didn't tell me your press was that good." And I just was somewhat flabbergasted. Here's a guy with CYO had scouts, and I'm sitting there, what I need is a station wagon to get my players to the games. But it became a great friendship. My business, ICS Corporation, we were at 317 North Broad for quite a few years, right next to Roman. And my dad was a graduate of Roman. So Speedy and I became close because I would go to a lot of their games or stop in at his practices when I wasn't busy. But the big thing came when I ended up coaching the girls at Hallahan, and then Speedy got offered the women's job at LaSalle. And he called me up that summer, I'll never forget it, and said, "I've been offered that job. Could I coach girls? You know me." And I said, "College girls, Division I, you can coach them. You'll be surprised how good they are." And he said, "Well, if I take the job, would you come with me as an assistant?" And, to go back to my other alma mater, LaSalle University, I said, "That'd be great. I would love to do it." So we had the ladies for 2 years, and we had a lot of success, a lot of great players, great kids. Cheryl Reeves coached the WNBA Minnesota Lynx to 2 championships. She was one of our players. It was just a great 2 years, and then Speedy got the men's job, and fortunately we also recruited Lionel Simmons that first year. So good players make good coaches, so we had a great run there at LaSalle.
That's great. And what has your relationship been like since you guys departed the sidelines there at LaSalle?
Well, it's, like I say, it's never changed. I mean, I think my wife and Mimi talk almost, if not every day, every other day, so they kind of go back and forth. I live down the shore now and, help coach the Middle Township guys down there. And Speedy actually wanted me to come with him as an assistant at the prep. But to be honest with you, I live 75 miles away, and I kind of had it with traveling back and forth, so I politely turned that one down. But we stayed very close. We were at his 1,000th win along with Joe Mahalik and Fran Dunphy. We were at where they honored him, just about 2 weeks ago at the prep. Where everybody showed up for that. It was great. But we've stayed close. They come down the shore. My wife works at the Windward Hotel, and we've put them up there and had a lot of good times. We stayed very close with the family, Keith, Brian, Margaret, Mary, and Christopher. Actually, Christopher and my youngest daughter, Colleen, went to LaSalle together, and my 2 oldest daughters, Marie and Catherine, went to LaSalle with Keith. So families have been very close for a long time, still are.
That's great. I don't want to dominate this, Paul. John, anything that you and Richard had either been through or any questions or thoughts you had, that you wanted to share on Speedy at this time?
Well, I have a few, but I'll just quickly share one that I just found out for the first time before this game. I was talking with Randy Monroe. I said, "What's your favorite Speedy story?" He says, "My senior year Roman Catholic, my family was going to visit relatives in Georgia." And I said, "Mom, I can't go. I have this tournament." And when Speedy found out he was going to be alone for Christmas, he said, "Come to my house with my family." He spent that Christmas and stayed 5 days with the Morris family. And you could see Coach Monroe getting emotional about that. And I think it's just one of probably many hundreds of stories of Coach Morris caring for his players.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Speedy always did care about the players, Dr. John. Paul has some stories, too, because he had to go up against them enough times.
Oh, no doubt about it. But I mean, it sounds like the stories, the theme largely is family, is about the Morris family, and then friends that are family, obviously, like you said.
Hey, Richie, tell the Jack Hurd recruiting story.
Oh, we had a great one when we recruited Jack Hurd. It's a classic. He lived in a little town out in midwestern Pennsylvania called Lidditz, and it was in the middle of winter when they made a home visit. So it was Dumpf, Joe Mihalik, and Speedy. I wasn't there on that one. All I know is they had a great home visit, and it's a very big recruit to get. So they're leaving, and Dumpf is driving, and Speedy's talking to him, and all of a sudden Speedy says, Dumpf, please tell me Joe Mihalik's in the back seat. And they turned around, and Joe Mihalik wasn't in the back seat. They had to turn around. There's Joe Mihalik standing outside the Hurd household, freezing cold because they had his overcoat. So when he finally gets in the car, Speedy says, Joe, why didn't you at least go back in the house? He said, Speedy, we're trying to recruit this kid. You think his parents would let him come with us if they were so dumb they left me here? Very, very true story.
That's a classic.
But, just one of many, many good ones with Speedy. I can still hear the phrases when we were coaching together. And ball you man, flat triangle, don't turn a good shot into a bad play. I mean, Speedy was – he actually had a way to retrieve a loose ball that if you didn't go down on that floor the right way, he kind of got on you for that. That's how detailed he was.
That's brilliant. Well, Richard, we appreciate your time. You're welcome to hang if you want. We can also let you get back to it, though, if you'd like.
No, I'll get back to the bride. She's on the crutches, so I got to look after her.
All right.
Gentlemen, it's always great to see you, Paul.
Thanks,
Good luck to
Richie.
you. Continue.
Fantastic,
Dr. John,
man.
I'm a
You're the
fan of
best.
yours. Keep it up.
Back at you. Same.